This is Close Encounters of the Tech Kind.
The UK enacted some laws saying that age verification is mandatory. We're going to save the children, prevent them from getting to bad websites. I'm all for that. I think this is money spent in the wrong direction, and I think it's going a little gangbusters in the wrong direction. It's now flipped on its head and turned into, instead of age verification, it's going to be proof of identity and tracking you through every site that you touch.
Yeah, and not even that. I think the law was made from a standpoint seemingly of someone who doesn't understand how the internet works. And I feel like this is a common thing that we're seeing in the last few years, is that all of these bills get announced, at least here in the US. And we see a lot of laws get passed internationally, but these bills get proposed that are written in a way that seemingly like they just have no idea the inner workings of the technology. And so the bill is either doing something completely different than what was originally intended, or oftentimes it is intended to not do what the language says, but do other things behind the scenes. Like a lot of these age verification laws, like you said, they're not really doing age verification. Now they're doing proof of identity, right? And they're tagging you as a user with a name and a face and a credit card number and you name it.
It's more exciting than that. There's a company, Persona. Anybody here know what they do? Artie, I think you know.
Yeah, Persona is basically an identity verification service that functions with government entities. They're getting into the private sector with a lot of websites. They are partnered with Discord and are going to be their go-to come March 1st.
Hang on to your seats. It connects to 271 various fingerprinting, lock you into who you are, identity tracking things. So your website, your laptop, your operating system, your surfing habits, your favorite websites you go to are tracked. Your driver's license, of course, Gmail address, all those things. And it's not like they were hiding this. Some white hat researchers got into it and followed the APIs and found 271 outbound links to other data sources. And it stitches it all together to show that Artie is flying this plane right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it feels like a violation, right? And I think the other thing about a lot of these verification laws, I mean, the one that kind of sparked our interest today, I think we were talking about in pre-show, is was it Colorado had a law that said any operating system must be required to I forget the exact language because the exact language was dumb. But the operating system is required to basically present the user's age to any app stores, so that those apps can then do what they will with that age, or the app store itself. And there's just so many things wrong with it. Like, first of all, okay, well, what do you consider an operating system? Like, obviously whoever wrote it has only ever heard of a Mac or a Windows computer, because obviously, okay, yeah, Mac is Apple and Windows is Microsoft. What about like a lot of like all of the bajillion Linux distributions? Who are you gonna?
BusyBox that runs on routers and everything. Linux. And there's even more esoteric operating systems that are out there, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How about those Christmas lights that dance around and play music you've seen on YouTube so many times? That's an operating system.
My Raspberry Pi has an operating system.
Your Switch has an operating system, and your Switch 2.
Now, I know that a lot of those things like app stores and stuff, I know I've had to put in my age to have an account with the store. Like, why isn't that good enough? Why is
Well,
it
that's
have
what
to be the
Texas
whole
tried to
operating
do.
system?
Texas tried to do that, and they eventually backed down because they realized just how dangerous that is. You know, if and that's the thing, is we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater with some of these laws. You know, if you require ID, okay, now my kid who might be under 13 isn't allowed to install an operating system.
Mm.
What about a computer that we dug out of a thrift store, 15 years old? Bring that back from the graveyard and try and install a system on there. Is a legacy OS now illegal? It's not well thought through.
You're
No.
telling me I can't run OS2 Warp?
Could you,
No.
though?
I don't know. I actually never got a chance to play around with that.
It was cool. It was really cool. But I still love the tagline. It says, "It fixed broken Windows." It was compatible with Windows operating system applications, but OS2 Warp was really cool. It just didn't get wide adoption.
For a second there, you said it fixes Windows, and I was like, my window to outside, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. I don't know why that took me a second. We've been talking about Windows. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many issues. First off, with like within the first paragraph of the language, nothing's properly defined. And even then, you're asking something that doesn't make any sense. Like there's no practical way to implement it. And if you go back to what they claim to be the original purpose, which is, hey, we're here to protect the children. Okay, how hard is it for a kid when the operating system prompts you put in your birthday, knowing they're going to be restricted later? How hard is it for them to say I'm 18? It is not that hard.
Or flip it on its head. You know, if I don't want advertisements, put in a birthday that says I was born yesterday.
True.
Could be fun. But then do you have to prove it? Like,
Congratulations on your first birthday. Here's your AARP sign up membership for.
Well, okay, so I mean that's the right question to ask, John, and I think that's where we get to persona. Is okay. Well, how do you know that you're not lying? Well, the way they get around that is like, okay, well, you have to send us an ID, and then that brings up all of these other issues of okay, well, what are you going to do with my ID? Like, what happened to the internet where it was like, you don't even share your name, much less your age or your entire ID to someone on the internet. So, and we can see that Persona is using your ID in how many was it? 271 different unique ways, sending it off. And I'll tell you what, the software doesn't even work that well. I've had to use an ID verification one time, and it denied me. And I was so mad about that.
You do look young. I'm just saying.
No, what can I do? My license is sideways, though, sir. Please.
It's just amazing that you've got a one size fits all approach to this. We're moving way too fast towards these actions, these laws, these whatever we're calling it. There's no safety. There's no guardrails. There's no. I mean, we gotta pump the brakes. Since we're getting into legislation and all that fun stuff, I'll quote Bernie Sanders. He said, "We have got to slow this down. AI is moving way too fast."
So
we're moving way too fast. Just to kind of jump the gun on Claudebot.
I'm going to go back to the previous one. I've got one thing to say with regards to that, and that is
we'll bounce around. We'll bounce around. This could be a horrible chapter video, but
don't worry.
Go ahead.
We need people involved in the legislating process for these things that actually understand what they're legislating.
I think we need to stop being specific in legislation and be more general.
If you do
If
it
we
too
could just
general,
pass,
then you get stuff like
Asimov's got
the
3 laws.
I'm referring to the age gating stuff.
And I'm referring to Asimov had the right idea of do no harm, do what humans tell you to, and just protect things. Like robot must do everything that a human says. Robot can't harm a human, and robot must sacrifice itself in order to save a human. Like simple rules. Let's start there. I'm all for save the kids. I'm all for age verification, but you can't define it. Therefore, how do you impose actions? How do you impose responses? There's no if then if there's no if. One of the go ahead.
I would even say, you're saying I'm all for age verification. I'm not even sure that I share that. Like, of course, we want to protect the children, but going at it through age verification doesn't actually do anything. Like, there's just no way you can lock the internet down. It wasn't built that way. And I know from experience, you can get around just about anything. There are so
Except
many
for the
different
paywall
ways.
on the New York Times webpage.
There are ways
I'm saying
around
it's
it. I'm not
possible.
going to say anything, but there are ways around it.
I'm saying that there's ways that you can do it, and I'm definitely for that. You don't want 12-year-old kids going into the liquor store and buying things they shouldn't. There's got to be a better way, and it's not a human checking 10 million logons on web pages or verifying that they're buying the right stuff. But there's a mechanism.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't go on Discord. Like that's the wrong direction. Discord's been an awesome place. Some tweaks could fix it. Anyway, I'll pass the microphone back. Somebody else.
Well,
Anybody?
one thing that comes to mind with a lot of this, just trying to lock everything down and they're trying to essentially baby-proof without understanding what is actually dangerous out there. So instead of figuring out, oh, well, they might get into the cabinets, they will duct tape and then, just like staple the duct tape to the doors to prevent it from opening so that nobody can get in there to access what's underneath it.
Use a nail gun, shut the cupboards. Nobody can get in there now.
Yeah. Or, one person drives drunk, so everybody has to retake their driving classes. It feels like collective punishment.
Really does. It really does.
And
save the kids. Great. I'm all for that. I'm not saying let's don't. But the number of kids versus the complete disruption of our lives on a half-baked solution that's not going to save the kids doesn't make sense.
I agree. I mean, raise your hand if you've ever been able to successfully circumvent any protections that were put there by a school or by a parent. My hand's up.
I plead the fifth. I am not here.
I plead the fifth.
No, it's just something that you got used to as someone that grew up with technology. I mean, that people younger than Jackson, the generation that's younger than Jackson, they are growing up with this technology and they know how to use it better than we do. And we're the ones that bloody well built it. So any safeguards that we put out there have to take into account that kind of ingenuity.
I mean, if you go back to the days of AOL, you had your own little safe community in the AOL environment before you get to the internet. I mean, if we really wanted to, let's start up one of those. Not that I'm advocating for a splinter net that you can't get to anything useful anymore, but give that as an option for parents if they want to protect their children.
Well, yeah,
Give options for cell phones to lock into that network. Don't
Another-
require it. Don't make me put my ID on there because you guys haven't figured out how to put an actual system together that supports what you're asking for. Anyway,
Go ahead, Jackson.
No, I was gonna say, like, yeah, and this is leading us down another path, right? Of, okay, if we do go down this route, well, now you're gonna see all of these. I mean, yeah, you're creating a splinter net. Well, I mean, as every month there's more and more things that I'm realizing, like, you know what, I would rather just self-host it. You know, I don't want to have to deal with this garbage.
the logistics of requiring Age ID to use your computer. Now, Microsoft and Android and all those, we can probably get there pretty easy. But Linux falls under the category of a computer. Who'd have thought? It's the most popular operating system in the world. It runs things everywhere from computers to watches to clocks to TVs to cars to thermostats. I mean, it's everywhere. California has just required age verification for all Linux installs, all Windows installs,
Did they actually?
phone
went
installs.
through?
It was signed into law back
No way.
November last year.
Oh, really?
Takes
It
effect
takes
on the first
effect
next year.
in 2027.
Oh,
January 2027. So we got time to
Wow.
implement this "we're tracking you" technology.
Oh.
We got time to convince
Well-
them to repeal it too.
And ironically, the governor who signed this into law is saying we need to rethink this.
Because I heard that he didn't like admitted like the thing was not even complete, and he signed it in, and it wasn't even a completely fleshed out law or something like
didn't-
that. I've
Didn't
heard.
read it.
That's what
I
we
signed it.
call
Yeah, you should probably read things before you sign them.
Get a new advisor that knows technology. Oh my goodness.
a few actually.
I mean, I
Trade
think that,
trade
that
out
would be
your LL.
that would be a wonderful addendum to just the political process in general. You have to have a rudimentary understanding of what you are trying to legislate, not just have somebody tell you about it.
Yeah, more than a rudimentary. You have to have a functional understanding of it.
I mean, that's asking a lot of these people. I mean, they are elected officials.
Oh golly.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you think about someone who's signing laws. I mean, you need like a specialized lawmaker for every single category of things. Like, I mean, there's just too much for them to understand, and we're asking them to understand technology, and most of them are so old, you know, they don't care. So I feel like it's a lost hope for that. The only hope we can have is that they care enough to listen to people who do know, because the people who know are going to be not an elected official. You know, and like Artie's saying, they're not going to be in that position. So as long as we can get them to listen to a good voice of reason, then I think we'll at least be in a better position than we are, where we're just, you know, signing these laws willy-nilly and not, you know, they have no idea the ramifications or the requirements it's going to put on things like, you know, Ubuntu or the thermostat that is sitting in their home.
There was one
I saw-
operating system that they basically said that, all right,
Yeah.
this product is not available for people in California or Colorado. Anybody else can install it.
End of installation. If you live there, you're done. Turn off the computer and go get a different OS.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I think that's maybe the way to go. Is that I think these companies are going to have to push back, because when you do something that's popular like this, instead of Microsoft just saying, "Okay, sure, we'll comply," maybe they just say, "Okay, sorry, this is not available in this state anymore, or even a country." I mean, I think we've seen that happen before, where a popular product was about to be subject under some law that was pretty stupid. So the company just says, "Okay, yeah, we're not going to make it available in this spot," and then you know, the people get angry and they start talking to the representative saying, "Hey, give me my iPhone back," or I want my Windows computer. So I
So
think
let's go another
all-
direction.
yeah.
Let's go another direction. So how many people set up their own computer, and how many people either hire that out or rely on a family member to help them out? My kids don't set up their own computers. I set up their computers. Do I put their age? Do I put my age? Do I average it out and say, okay, the average age of my household is,
Well,
like
what
where
I'm
does
what I'm
the
actually
problem come
reading
in?
here is that it's at the user account setup stage. So not necessarily completely at the operating system install stage, but at the point that you create the user account, which that means that in our workflow, the first account that you create is obviously going to be the admin account, which should be set up by the adult. And you would age verify that you're an adult. And then any additional accounts would then be set up for other users with that fall into the different age categories. And
So
that basically means that now you shouldn't be letting your kids use your account on your computer. Every kid's got to have their own account so that their age is properly reported.
How many families have the kids set up the computer for the family? You and I grew up with this stuff, and we started before
we were
13 years
running
old.
circles around our parents on the computer 2 days after the computer came into the house.
So if we sat down with this computer, we set up an age-restricted account for ourselves. Now we can't do anything until we create our parents' account. How does that work? And I guarantee you, every kid is going to fib and say, no, I'm old enough to be God on this computer, because you can't tell me I can't do things because my dad is going to ask me to do this thing and make it work. It's such a weird situation. It's not one size fits all. So I was thinking about this. If you've got a car, and you know how a lot of them have the little tablet screens on them now,
Ooh.
that's a Linux-based system. That's a user interface. Who sets up the ID on that? The thermostat in your house. Who puts their ID on that? Microwave, TV, all the things. Like, so many things are driven by Linux now. My water heater is driven by Linux.
Dad, I can't get
Yeah,
you a
and
beer because the
here-
fridge won't
here-
open because I'm too young to open the fridge.
Here's the thing that I don't get is that
Switch
from what
profiles.
I'm reading is that the intent of this is to transmit that age or communicate that age to app stores.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we just putting the age verification at the app store with a user account, an appropriate user account at the app store? Why does it have to be at the operating system? Because to me, that's just you're just creating more surface area for a vulnerability. That now they got my computer. Now they've got me and all my kids' ages with all the accounts that are on the computer. They know every one of my kids and how old they are. Whereas with an app store, like, I'm not going to be creating an app store for my wife. She doesn't care to really play games off of Steam or any of the other places. So she doesn't even need an account, and therefore she doesn't need to provide her age. She's, why are we doing it? To me, it's like a big shotgun effect that has the accuracy of a shotgun and doesn't even do anything to fix the problem.
Yeah, I don't even know if pushing the age verification back to the App Store does anything still. Like, I think we're still.
I don't even know if that's true, but like, definitely moving it up to the operating system. Like, are you nuts? And all operating systems, like even server operating systems that really don't have a user per se, and from what I'm reading right now, it's like it's very broadly and vaguely defined. Like, written by someone who just said just all operating systems. I mean, maybe they put it in there that it's all desktop operating systems. I don't know, but
It's all.
I don't know. IoT things. I mean,
What about my RTOS?
yeah.
What about my sprinkler system on my yard?
My thermostat is 13 years old.
You're 12 years old. You can't water the yard.
I need to age verify to use my Tamagotchi now.
Yeah.
So I think this brings up the big piece that I wanted to talk, and I don't want to get conspiracy theory, but I think we're watching it happen. We're losing anonymity. So you put a kid's account on a computer, you put a kid's account on a device, and they're age verifying it every time. And Discord and their partnership with Persona has proven that it goes out to 200 or 300 different sites to lock in that identity. So now your 7 or 8 year old child has 300 sites that know who, what, how, what, all the things that they access. What are they capable of doing? What are they not capable of doing? They're profiled. I would love to see the COPA, the Child Online Protection Act. I would love to see that come up against this. I think they're in opposition. These things are being tracked. They're being recorded. Our kids' lives are being tracked and de-anonymized, which, for better or worse, it's wrong. Don't track kids. We have years and years of legal footing behind this.
Yeah, I feel like it's having the opposite effect. The whole point is, well, they're flying the flag of protect the kids. Let's get age verification going on everything so that, we make sure we know who's underage and not.
Yeah.
When I think about my experience as a kid on a computer, we were still in that time of anonymity. Like, I felt safe as a kid because I knew the rules. You don't share your name, you don't share where you live, you don't share anything about yourself. And that's what made me felt safe. I was like, okay, yeah, they have no idea of telling who I am when I'm playing this game or whenever I'm doing, you name it. I don't know what else, I didn't do much but play games as a kid on the computer, but there's so much more that we use technology for now that I feel like this anonymity is more important now. That's what, and when I think about, okay, when I have kids, and if I think about the current state of things, I'm like, I don't want you on the internet because you don't know, talking to a little kid, you don't know what you're doing, honestly. So when they mess up, well, now it can be traced back to who they are. And
which there's some bad actors out there,
That's just it. That's a bad actor's number one goal is to identify who you are. That's the whole point of like hacking, like all like phishing and all that stuff is to cast out some bait, have you take it, and then they've got all your information and they have identified you and who you are and what accounts you're connected to. And we're going in the exact opposite direction now. We're saying, no, everybody's got to be identified. Well, that only works for the good guys. Like, why punish the good guys with a stupid
punish
law?
Everybody.
You're punishing everybody.
99.99% of everybody is doing the right thing.
You're punishing everybody. You're punishing the good guys, though, because with the bad guys, they're going to find a way around it. It's not a punishment to them. And if anything, I worry that it actually helps them. It's giving them one more piece of the puzzle that they need to identify you or your kids or your family or something.
Not just one more piece. If it's going out to 270 different places, that's now 270 new sources of information that these people can attempt to break into. And I guarantee you, not all of them are going to have security at the level that they need to keep all bad actors out. No safe is secure. there's always going to be a breach. It's just a matter of when and how they handle the data.
I think if we were trying to protect the kids, we'd go after the places like Roblox that have just been exposed for being an absolute.
I saw a video on this very topic, and the person in that video had the exact same frustration. It's like, why aren't we going after? And they mentioned Roblox. It was funny. I was like,
There's
absolutely.
so many sites.
Yeah.
Social media. I mean, I'm watching the ban hit in other countries. Anybody under 16 is not allowed to have social media. Okay, so we just now figured out social media has a toxic element. Cool. Why not find a way to help kids understand what to do and how to be safe? Jackson, like you were saying, just don't be a troll. Don't be a jerk. Don't give out your real information. The privacy is super important. I'm worried that this de-anonymization process is going to strip away the privacy that our parents wanted for us and the privacy we want for our kids. And we're going to lose all sense of privacy because the AIs are going to have access to everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's been going through my head as we've been talking about this is, when I'm remembering my childhood, that even if I did, because we were talking about what a bad actor wants. Bad actor wants to figure out who I am and what else I use. Now that I have bank accounts and I have all this other stuff, if they figure out that I'm some user on a game, that doesn't help them really, honestly. Okay, he plays this game, whatever. But then if they figure out, okay, he plays this game and this person is also tied to these banks, well, now they can start doing targeted attacks at me. They can send me a phishing email that looks like it comes from my bank with information that should only be known to me. And then I'm more prone to clicking on a link than if they just send me some junk email from some bank I don't use. So
here's your last three purchases. Confirm your identity.
Exactly. And so all of these little pieces of information that they're collecting are helping bad actors to identify people. And it's been shown even in researchers are going through this and testing this. Okay, well, how easy is it to identify someone based off of just some small pieces of metadata or like maybe a tweet they sent out? Because it used to be that, like you guys talked about, all these message boards and all this stuff, it used to be anonymous. You go out there, ask a question and, talk to people, and nobody knew who anybody was. And that's what made it safe. But researchers have shown that you can actually feed this data coming from anonymous users, feed this data, the things that they say, the things that they say they like, or context. And these large language models can actually figure out who this person is with pretty high percentages of certainty.
Really?
Just based on some of that small data. Yes.
Like give me a for instance on that.
Yeah. One of the case studies they did was, now I'll give you a general example. Let's look at this. Somebody tweets out, struggling with CS 224 and at Stanford this quarter, senior year is brutal. Another message from the same anonymous user. Walking biscuit through Dolores Park, missing Portland rain today with the dog emoji. Now those are obviously, they're testing things. This is running through some very specific test cases. I don't know who would give out this exact information, but feed that in through the LM, just those two messages, and it matches. Okay, this person goes to Stanford, they're in the CS program, they're this age and all of this, and then they match that to a name. They say, okay, it's this probable that it's this person, and there's like a second option that's 70%.
But are they from Portland, Oregon, or from Portland, Maine?
So that's the thing. They use all of these content to get this profile, and then they match that to people they're searching. So that's like a case study. And now they go on, okay, let's actually do this. And so they go on to Reddit, which is a great place for scraping this data, full of lots of quote unquote anonymous users. And they started, which I thought was interesting, they started by going through people's favorite movies. So they went to subreddits like horror or movie suggestions, true film, movie details, all of these subreddits. And they would go in and they would find people talking about their favorite movies. And I'll give you the stats. So if you shared one of your favorite movies, there's a 3.1% of those people could be identified with 90% precision. If you shared
Wow.
2 to 4 of your favorite movies, 8.4% of that population can be identified with 90% precision. Okay, 5 to 9 jumps to 23%. If you share more than 10 of your favorite movies, you get to 48%. So almost
Remember
half
all
of that-
those Facebook posts, list your favorite movies, et cetera, et cetera. Put your top
Exactly.
10 favorite, top 15 favorite, top 20 favorite.
Oh, those all those scam sites have just been holding on to that, and now they're ready to figure out who you are.
There was a education meme that went around. It said, "Here's your horoscope. The first 8 digits of your credit card number are your spirit animal, and the last 8 digits of your credit card number are,
It's a bit extreme, but yeah, I get the picture, and yeah, I remember those.
For some reason, with that profiling that was done with that, I'm linking it back to the other things with the AI, and the image that I get is the officer that is accusing the lady that has not left her house of being on the other side of town, saying we've got the cameras there to prove that you were there. It's extrapolating answers from data without actual facts in place.
Yeah, that was an example where human decision got in the way of good judgment. But I'll never forget that. I mean, that guy's going to go in history for saying you can't go outside without taking a breath of fresh air, and we watch you do it.
Yeah, I'm saying that's how I'm seeing this kind of association being used. They're going to make the claim that you are this person because all the information points to you being this person without any definitive actual evidence of them being the person. That's all I'm saying.
Incomplete correlative data is going to be a problem. Actually, one of the reasons I've got GPS turned on full time just to prove where I'm at all the time. Because either I was there or I wasn't, but my GPS will tell me if I was or wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Now you're having to now sacrifice something that you would have never shared out or never allowed to happen. Is your actual location. You would never want to log that in some cloud or even privately, maybe.
But that's even a problem because I've got instances where I've looked up on kind of my history, my tracking, that it misses a couple of pings with the GPS satellites. And so it has me, let's just say, okay, it's only 5 minutes from here where I work to my house, right? Well, it has me driving for an hour and a half. Like, I was not driving for an hour and a half, and it did not take me an hour and a half to get from my house to the office. So
it was 3 hours.
Where was it? Yeah, it was, okay. I went by way of, okay. The
you went through
ice cream
Casper to
shop
get to
or something.
office.
Yeah, something like that, right? But so yeah, either the technology is going to have to be incredibly reliable to justify and prove our innocence, or we just need to find another way, which I'm all for finding another way.
I don't know where the age verification is going to go, but I saw some commentary going back and forth. It's not so much what age verification does today. The brackets that they're being put in place to say you're, 13 to 15, 15 to 18, whatever. The framework that puts in is a vulnerability behind the scenes for ultimate tracking of every move on every device. Because that's the only way to really enforce it.
Yeah, I when you were just talking about that, I mean, it brings us back to the idea of we're taking the internet, which used to be open and like free for everyone to move around in, is now getting sectioned off into age groups. Which again, like some people might hear that and be like, yeah, that sounds good. Like we should protect children from sections of the internet which they shouldn't go to. And I agree with that. Yeah. There are ways to do it, but the way that it's being proposed now of forcing you to basically allow every website to track your age and know your demographics, I think that is where you're overreaching, and we're starting to overreach, I guess, and we're no longer really protecting the child because we're giving away all the information about the child to anyone on the internet. Like, you know, it seems pretty counterintuitive.
Well, the problem is it's not apparent that that's what you have to do. I mean, it's like I said in the last one. I'm all for saving the children, but we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater on this. I mean, to shut you down there, but okay.
No,
I'll
I
take
mean,
it.
I don't know what else there's to say about it. That is pretty much what's happening. Is in an effort to just solve the problem, we're chopping the whole tree down.
Yeah, so the letter is signed by 438 academia professors across 32 countries. And it's, I'll just quickly read the first paragraph. We're writing in response to worldwide initiatives to introduce age assurance technologies to implement access control to internet services. We share the concerns about the negative effects and exposure to harmful content online. So we applaud the regulators for their efforts. However, and I'm going to quickly we fear that implementing without careful consideration of the technology hazards and societal impact, the new regulations might cause more harm than good. So it's about 5 pages long, and then the signatures are an additional 22 pages. Worth the read. The idea is it's a ready, fire, aim kind of moment. Like let's do something and then fix it later. When this is almost the wrong solution for the problem.
Almost?
I mean, almost the wrong solution.
Gathering information on everybody just to keep a very small section of that group safe makes everybody unsafe. Especially when, I mean, we've talked about it many times before. The data that's collected is not secure. I mean, even in the hands of, dare I say it, our government, they get hacked too. Government entities get hacked. And I'm not talking about like you know what I'm talking about.
Fun fact, the government agency that's in charge of wiretaps just got hacked.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't want to explore that one on this podcast, guys. I don't want this to get demonetized. I definitely don't want to get black bag, but yeah, no system is secure. Exactly. I say it's almost the right solution, because if we're going to track kids and we're going to do things, it should be done with cooperation with a household, with a parent, with a guardian, with somebody who's looking after the child. And if they choose to get into that system, let them. But to go the other direction and mandate it and say, you shall not pass, that's the wrong solution. So I'm saying it's a good idea to encourage companies to give that alternative. Maybe think of it like back in the 80s and 90s, restaurants had a smoking section and not smoking section. That's probably what we should be looking at here with this age verification. If you should require people to have that option, it shouldn't be the only thing you can do.
Yeah, and I feel like once again, it's almost the same deal with like whenever Google's saying they're going to remove sideloading, saying it's for your safety. But the thing is, it still doesn't really help anything because there's still ways to reach content that's malicious on an app store that is technically approved. The same goes for the internet. When we're talking about, okay, the law has said, okay, this domain, you have to follow these rules. You have to be making sure that you're not serving content to, you've been marked as an adult website. You can't serve content to children. Okay, it's still up to the hoster of the website to follow that. And if your goal is to be malicious on the internet, then you're just not going to follow it, and you wait to get caught by the law, and then you say, okay, whatever, you move to domains, and like nothing happens. Like, it's something that we've seen throughout history is it is far too easy for malicious actors to shift around on the internet, and they get around domain blocking. There's too many ways around it. And that's kind of the beauty of the internet, is that these types of things are possible. But then you go to that point, okay, well, let's set these age restrictions up. Okay, those who are going to follow the law get punished, and those who don't continue to do what they were already doing. So nothing really changes.
It goes with the idea that we're going to punish the outlaws by making more laws, and that's sure, but that's only when they get caught. I mean, the
right.
It's not going to stop them. It's not a deterrent.
Yeah. Like when I think of my own experience as a child on the internet, and we touched on this last week, I think, the safety that I had was anonymity. And it was taught in school even. It was taught by my parents. It was like, hey, if you see something like this is adult content. You don't go there. Like, that's the thing. If you're online, you're playing games, or you're in some chat room or whatever, these are the rules you follow. Don't give out any information about yourself. Don't do any of this. And generally, if you're a kid, you probably shouldn't be in chat rooms. Like, just don't be on there. And as long as I followed those rules, I was safe. I was far safer than I am even now, if I were to follow the same rules, because everything is now gathering data on you. And so once we tag on that age to it, it's just another piece of data that we're required to gather. And then they'll find out that that's not effective. So now they have to gather all this other data on you. And going back to when we talked about Discord, right? Discord even said, like, oh, we're going to be implementing these age verification measures. They've since backed off of that. But then when people were saying, like, oh, well, what if I can't do this and this and this? And like, oh, it's okay. We'll infer your age anyway. We already have enough information about you to do it. Like, we got to stop just giving out all of this information about ourselves and quit trying to tag more things on thinking that it's going to solve the problem. I think way back, 10, 15 years ago, we were all a lot safer on the internet because nobody knew who anybody was. There was no way to track somebody down.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, and I think what they're trying to solve with these laws, and I'm not trying to take devil's advocate, but why not? Somebody does something harmful to somebody else, and it's anonymous. We've got to find a way to track them down.
Right.
So I saw, we had a conversation with a customer where law investigators tracked down somebody who did something really heinous by they bought the tools of their crime with cash in someplace else, not the same town that they were in. And the FBI was able to get a video picture of the guy buying the tools with cash through the SKU of the tool that was left there on location. So they found all the transactions. They went backwards. I'm saying the police work can get to most of these bad actors, these harmful people online.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will make a mistake in their OPSEC. I mean, we took down the Silk Road. Took a while, but we got him. So is it necessary to unmask everybody to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to? because a couple bad apples are ruining it for all of us. Maybe the title of this podcast should be "This is why we can't have nice things."
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. The intent of the rules is to level and equalize the playing field. But in a lot of ways, the way I see it is that by creating rules, you actually make it unequal, because we're dealing with people who don't follow rules. So what does a rule do to people who don't follow rules anyway? I mean, they're going to go break into the bank account of somebody, you know, and that's wire fraud or something like that. They're breaking a law that's already on the books. Wire fraud and things like that, that's already on the books. You're not supposed to do that. So what's another rule going to be to them? Oh, it's just one more thing I just have to get around before I get to what I want. I'm breaking rules anyway. I might as well go all the way. It's like, oh, darn, they put that age verification on. I guess I can't, you know, man.
I've already broken 13 laws. What's one more?
Shucks, age verification. I'm too old to do this. Oh, or too young or whatever it is, you know. It doesn't work that way. Lawbreakers break laws. You make more laws, just they're going to break laws. Like,
so then I'll flip and go the other direction on this.
May I?
We saw some destruction of the function of the internet for a company that controls intellectual property of football. The broadcaster rights went to a Spanish court and said, we need to block this from ever getting out. And so they fundamentally changed DNS in Spain. They shut down Quad 9, I think it was. Artie, you remember that one?
I know which one you're talking about, but there have been a lot that have come since, and they get muddied.
Yeah. I mean, it started the floodgates here, where we're going to start changing the foundations of the internet, and it's not good, like really not good, because the internet we use is based on some very simple concepts, but it wasn't built as secure, and it was not built as a public, free, and open space that has full trackability. There's the chance of being anonymous. There's a chance of being private, and that's fine. But tracking people down, writing these laws doesn't change the foundation of the internet. I have a feeling once we get this age verification stuff passed and once it's in there, they're going to start going at the foundation of the internet.
It's people call it a slippery slope argument, but it's really just a foot in the door. They are trying to, if they can get away with this, then they can get away with more. And we are actually seeing that happen in the UK, because at first it was supposed to be, we're doing this to protect kids. And now, we need to extend this ban to VPNs. We need to extend this ban to other things that were not related to protecting kids.
You can't use a VPN in Starbucks because save the children.
Well, no, what I'm saying, when they try to extend it to other things, they have taken it from we are trying to protect the kids to now you can't say certain political speech. Like they skipped like steps 3, 4, and 5 and went straight to censorship of political opponents. And we are seeing that unfolding right now in the UK, and they're not happy over there. The citizens, I should say.
And how do you prove you're an adult? Anyone?
Oh, I have an idea. Ooh, me.
Jackson in the blue in the back.
Send me a picture of your ID.
That's unfortunately where we're going with all this, right? It's an interesting time we live in, where you have to submit all this information to prove you're who you say you are, and hope the system recognizes that and that it's secure from identity theft. These laws are moving too fast.
Well, I think the other side of this that we haven't really talked about too much on this show, I think we've focused a lot on how it's Um, I mean, these two are also very important aspects of this topic, but we've mainly talked about how one, it's extremely unsafe to be sending ID, having that data be stored. You're using third parties to do all of the processing and validation. It's like that in and of itself is already a huge enough issue for it to be, out of the question for me. But then you bring in also uh, the fact that there are ways to then get around it, so it's also just not even going to work. And then, but the third thing that I think we is worth discussing today is the fact that um, if a law like this goes into place, then we're basically forfeiting the ownership of your device. And we've talked about that a lot with other things, right? Of you don't own what you pay for when it comes to like surveillance cameras, like Ring, or I mean, just about any IoT device you can buy nowadays. Even your car, you don't even own your car anymore because there's software on there that the manufacturer owns and won't allow you to get around or change.
We
And
heard
so,
a story today from one of our team members. Ford is going to charge to pop the hood on your car. You can't open the car without a subscription. One of the comments below said, "Challenge accepted."
I've been seeing a lot more of that. Maybe it's just because I've been saying it out loud enough that all of my feeds have been listening and figured out what I actually care about. But I've been seeing a lot more and more of how all of these new vehicles have been just getting rid of basic functionality, like all of these electronic doors. Like, what's wrong with us just having a handle to open the door? Because then if your battery dies, well, how are you going to get out of your car? And sometimes, I mean, sometimes they have like the manual releases and all that stuff. Well, I mean, it's just all of these things keep adding on top of another. Like they're removing functionality.
You know what follows innovation?
Greed.
I don't know.
Lawsuits.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's a law that came into place. You know how if you try and open your driver's door, I'm not talking any of these electronic cars, you can open the door even if it's locked. You ever notice that?
From the
Try it
inside.
sometime. From the inside.
from the inside, yeah.
You can open your door even if it's locked if you're the driver. And that came about because of lawsuits. Detroit figured out that it's going to be more cost in litigation and payouts than it will be to just give a driver a quick exit to the vehicle, never mind if the door's locked. Because there could be any number of emergencies that happen that need a quick exit. So now, if the battery's dead, you can't get out. If the car's on fire, you can't get out. Like this does not make sense. There's
Yeah.
gonna be lawsuits, and it's gonna be ugly, and people are gonna get hurt. Not good.
Yeah, I
But all
think
this innovation. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it all ties back. I mean, it's all part of the same problem when we go to age verification. It's
Yeah.
it's going back to that same root thing of, well, you no longer own what you paid for. Like that computer that you bought, in order to use it, you have to verify your age. And that means that there is someone else that is controlling whether or not that thing works that you bought, that computer or your phone or whatever.
But if you get into the letter of what is proposed right now, and I don't want to say the law word too much because the algorithm will deprioritize this. But hey, we've already gone down that bridge a few times. Check out other podcasts if you want to hear our thoughts there. Some of our episodes only get a couple dozen views, so go check those out. We definitely would appreciate the support. If you want to hack the algorithm, hit like and subscribe and help us push this message out. But yeah, so putting your license into the system is a requirement. Putting this mechanism in place for you to use anything that has an operating system is a requirement of this new legislation. So that's cool. Fun fact, The Mars rover runs on Linux. The ones that are up there right now. Whose ID should we put on that? I guess technically the vice president of the United States is in charge of NASA, so let's use his.
You bring up a good point. A lot of embedded systems run on Linux, right? Or like FreeRTOS or whatever you name it. I mean, those are all technically operating systems. So does that mean that every time you buy anything that it then has to do age verification?
Yes. The way it's written right now, yes. You buy an ESP32 little board that's $6 on Amazon. You have to submit your ID and verify it through the system. Whatever that system is, you must, or you're in violation of the law.
Your
How about
dishwasher,
an Arduino, the thing that was made for kids?
Yeah.
but your dishwasher, your toaster, your air fryer, anything that's got an operating system built into it is going to require this BS.
As it's written now. I'm looking forward to this. Now, here's the cool part. So this law is going to require a mechanism just like the European Union. You have to use a third-party resource to verify your ID. Okay. What could go wrong with that, right? It's going to help centralize things so you don't have your Samsung dishwasher connected to your Kenmore washing machine upstairs and, relying on all those. They can all go to one central authority that is hack-proof, right? Because that's possible. Mike, is it hack-proof?
What's hack proof?
The ID verification center that we're going to use? It's got to be, otherwise all our IDs are at risk.
Nothing is hack proof. There's always a way in. There's always going to be some way in. Even if you think it's hack proof, I mean, the fact that it's going to require access by something or somebody to be useful means that it can be hacked. Whether it's getting in through somebody's privileged account or social hacking to, turn somebody ransomware, supply chain. There's lots of ways.
Or how about this? Your kid comes up on you while you're taking a nap, shines your phone on your face to prove it's really you, to get into that gaming website so they can play Roblox or whatever it is they're going to play that day.
It's just ridiculous.
So
there's going to be that, and that's the thing is that necessity breeds invention. There's going to drive a need for people that want to get in without playing by the rules. They're going to invent ways of doing it.
I mean, just look at Australia with their social media ban. I mean, how many teenagers are figuring out all of these ways to get around the system?
I'd venture to say all of them.
It doesn't take a PhD.
We know that there's a dark web out there that's providing, license keys, cracked games, cracked software, nefarious stuff left and right, know, and if somebody could come out and say, yeah, we've completely eliminated the dark web, well, that'd be great, but I doubt that's ever possible.
There's probably a way we could do this, but we'd have to get together and figure out this innovation together. And my concern is we're just jamming this in as a hard requirement. Thou shalt have this happen as of tomorrow. It just doesn't feel like the right move. It feels like we should kick this down the road 5-10 years and say, on this day, sometime in the future, the mechanism must be in place, and then provide funding and resource and guidelines and whatever of technical people. Because right now you're looking at anybody that can steal your identity online. Happens all the time, right? You could do Wi-Fi man in the middle attacks. You could do, and this happens all the time, right? Your logins to your accounts get hijacked and stolen all the time. There's many, many ways. I don't want to go through all those ways here, but let's say there's 6 data points that are necessary by these ID brokers. So if you've got 6 data points that are necessary to prove that I'm John, you're Mike, you're Jackson, that's all you need to submit to that broker to prove it's you. Once those hit the dark web, anybody can be anybody. Then what have we solved?
Well, and then that worries me too, because we're tying this into the registration of a device, basically, right? And now your device, if that device is found to be doing something not legal, they trace that back to you. If somebody has used your stolen identity, that traces back to you. I mean, and there's instances where we see that even happening now, where your name was the last name on a registration or a title to a vehicle or something like that. You know, the law enforcement comes around asking you questions like, hey, you know, your name came up. Tell us a story. What's going on here? You know, and you have to explain it. And, you know, it's going to have to be more on us that if our identity does get stolen, we have to report it. But here's the problem. We have to know that our identity got stolen. And I think there's so many instances where our identity gets stolen and taken and used, and we don't realize it.
I'm gonna scare everybody just a little bit more. We have a presumption of innocence by virtue of our whole legal system, right? If your identity's hacked and added to a computer that does nefarious things, you have been logged on and proof positive that you did the hack. It's not up to you to defend yourself. You're guilty till you have your innocence proven. That's not justice. At least not the justice in this country. I don't like where this is going. It's just, this is not something that everybody should just take. I think we need to fight back on this hard. This does not end well. We have seen a lot of people take liberty. I just recently saw somebody draw a little face on their thumb, and they were showing it and turning perspective for the scanner. It says, turn your head, and now turn your head. And now that's you. And the thumbprint, or the thumb little mannequin, was verified. So
that's pretty funny. And it makes sense depending on how extensive of like of image processing you do to actually figure out if a face is real or not. I mean, if it's a simple model, which I feel like most like ones that, you know, I mean, if you're a smaller company and you don't, this is not what you do, but you're just trying to integrate this, you would do the thing where it just simplifies an image down to some solid lines. And so if you start with solid lines, it's already there.
Yep. You get a fingerprint and a face view all in one shot. So you guys remember somebody in the United States decided we're going to one up that and say, California, we're going to require age verification for operating system install.
Right.
So here's the cool part. All the internet is revolting in the UK about this, and now the EU too, finding all the ways around age verification. So we got a good blueprint to install our Windows operating systems next year. Just saying. But I was thinking about it when I was thinking about some of the services we offer our customers and some of the clients we got. How would I install critical infrastructure and verify my ID? Is it the contractor that comes on site and verifies it with their ID? Is it the city manager? Is it the plant manager? Is it the head of the city works? Who puts their ID on critical infrastructure? We'll find out. Maybe they'll use that little happy face thumb.
Please show us your thumbprint now.
You have to authenticate with biometrics just to take a temperature reading.
Well, the whole idea was the OS would store your age and then it would report that to the application store. So like if it's Windows, that age would go directly to the Microsoft store. If it's Ubuntu, it would go to their install store or whatever. So I mean, you could still just go online and install whatever you want anyway, right? Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't use the Microsoft Store for anything. Practically nothing.
I use it when I have to. I avoid it when I can.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it before, but like the whole idea itself doesn't make any sense. Just even like let's assume there's no way around it. Like it still doesn't do anything. But then you get to the point of like, okay, now you have to actually implement it, and yeah, you run into this thing with like, okay, well, what about critical infrastructure? What about like a home PC? Like who puts their ID on? You know, I mean,
What about the security cameras at Walmart? Or the point of sale machines? How about the gas pump?
oh my gosh.
There's an operating system on that.
I'll tell you what, this is off topic, but who decided to put advertisements on the gas pumps? Let me tell you.
Maverick did.
Those jerks.
Right.
Which sucks because I do like my Maverick gas stations.
And they're
They pay for
loud too.
themselves. Okay.
Don't-
So if it doesn't have the sticker on it, you can push the top right button and it will mute.
Oh, really? Good to know.
There's a life hack right there for you. Top right button mutes the ad on Maverick gas stations.
I should just
How do you?
I should scream at it. I'm 12 years old. I'm 12 years old. I'm 12 years old. You can't advertise to me.
Yeah, but that's a catch-22 because you have to be at least 16 or older to pump gas. So there you go.
That's all. When I have kids, I'll make my kid pump the gas.
What? I mean,
Or
There's so many-
I'll pump the gas and I'll have my kid next to me. Yeah.
yeah. There's so many of these things though. It's like you talk about verifying it through like a camera or something like that. How many devices even have a camera? Like how many of these devices are just a command line console TTY, based thing? That's like there's no graphics, there's no imaging on it or anything like that.
Or how about Vex robots or Lego robots?
Those things run it on an operating system?
Oh yeah.
Well,
I just recently got into Vex robots. Oh my goodness.
are the laws being written for any operating system or any operating system that has access to the internet?
From my understanding,
I
the
thought it was
laws
the latest-
are being
I
written.
thought that all started with having access to the internet, but anyway, what's the answer?
From my understanding and what I've seen, it is any device that has an operating system, full stop. And that's like every single bit of technology that we've made for like the last 15, 20 years.
And that's when you look at the person who wrote the first draft and you say, you don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Do they ever?
Not if they're in
Sometimes.
politics.
It
When it
takes them a
comes
good
to
10 years to get there.
technology, when it comes to technology, do they ever?
Well, that's one place where I'm not going to go hard defending any of that, but it takes 10 years for the political and legislative cycle to go from start to finish. In technology, that's like 7 generations of tech. So by the time you set a rule for one thing, now we're on to like spaceships, and they're still trying to figure out how to regulate the wheel. So it's not that I'm defending them; it's that the process is incompatible with regulating the industry that's moving way faster than they are.
Yeah, and I understand that it's a process that is slower by design because they want people to actually think about what they are legislating and putting out there, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. But occasionally, you get things that get pushed through that should not, and some of
And it
these
get challenged and repealed if needed. And hey, you can't have a free market without regulation. Put that in the comments. I know somebody just swore at their screen. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, because free market versus regulation, that's a hot topic right there.
why shouldn't I be
So-
allowed to mix chalk into my bread and sell it to people? It's white bread, isn't it?
Yes, but you can't sell it as food. How about that?
I mean, that's one of the
Integrity.
things that caused regulations. One of the big things I can remember that
Yeah.
brought regulations to the forefront was people mixing in dangerous stuff into food.
I anecdotally, I heard about some farmers in a foreign country that found out that the sensors used to determine the amount of protein in beef product would also pick up a higher protein content in plastic. So they injected the beef with plastic just to get the right rating on their product. So yeah, free market without regulation is dangerous. You can't have free market without regulation.
Too many people would run amok.
It's got to have consequence. You hurt people, you should
Mm-hmm.
be removed from the free market. I don't know. Interesting thought. What were we talking about? Age verification?
Age
Oh, yeah.
verification.
Yeah.
Do you want me to
So the mark.
bring up
Go ahead.
So there have been some people that are fighting against it, and there is one group that has brought a successful halt to a law that was passed for age verification in Utah. I'm not going to name them. You all know who I'm talking about.
You know what you've done. Now think about it.
Essentially, their argument was that the law itself was too broad and that it requires any company to verify all users worldwide to check and see if they are specifically coming from Utah.
Oh, that company.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, okay. I'm with you now.
So there are some wins against the age verification, but we will see how long those wins last.
Well, but that goes to the heart of the matter. It should be discussed. It shouldn't be just, burn it down on one end and then walk away thinking you've got victory. It's not. Jackson, I think I cut you off.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's kind of sad that it took an adult content website to actually say something right to the state legislatures about this age verification law that they're trying to pass. Or actually, this is geolocation verification, right? And it's sad that it has to come through.
Well, it's both.
know-
It's both. It's we got to geolocate and prove your identity.
Right. But specifically, I think where they like Artie was saying, where they actually made progress and was able to get that repealed was through that whole geolocation thing, because you would have to verify, like Artie said, every single person on the planet. Anybody who visits your site, you would have to figure out where they're from, and there's just no way to do that.
Not repealed. It is being held back by court order right now while more
Okay.
investigation goes on.
Which I think is the right move. There should be some conscious thought on this. There should be some cogent defense and counterpoint. There should be. It shouldn't be just pass a law and now all of us have to surrender our privacy to every website we go to, because that's ridiculous.
So, I mean, here's a question. Would a better law be forcing any VPN provider, or well, I'm already seeing the holes in this, but I mean, you could you could grab a significant percent of the population if there are lots of apps that provide free VPNs or even paid services. If you would require these companies to verify the age, kind of like how gambling websites do, of their users. Is that a better solution? Or is that just as bad?
It's just kicking the can down the road. It's the same problem,
think
just
you're right,
different
yes.
company.
Thanks for watching Close Encounters of the Tech Kind. This is John, asking you to like, subscribe, and give a comment below on what your thoughts are. And let's expand this conversation to include everyone.